Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This is episode 10. In this video, we get all of the electrical done. We get the footrest put in on the bar, and obviously I've been using the grill. At the end of the video, I show you a couple things about the grill that I'm learning. This is just such an amazing grill. I just love it. Here's some Brussels sprouts and pork chops before I was doing some chicken wings, but stay tuned. This is a great episode. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick explanation of the wiring. Like I said, I pre-wired it. You saw all of that, I think, in episode 2 or 3. Had an electrician come over and make all the connections. There's a couple little details that need to be wrapped up, but I can explain to you how the wiring goes and the logic behind why it was wired the way it was wired. So, everything comes in from the breaker panel in the garage into this right here, and that is a 20 amp GFI. The reason why it's 20 amp is because the refrigerator, which goes there, and the rotisserie, and say we had like a sous vide running out here, that's actually not done, but you get the idea, that would draw some amps. So the 20 amp GFI is just necessary to have enough juice out here if we needed it. So right behind this box is where the power comes in from the garage breaker panel, and it all goes through this GFI and then loops up and over. You can see the loop right there into this box. This box needs an extension on it so all those wires will fit safely and have the plate put on without them being too crunched in there. But this way, everything is protected by that GFI. If anything shorts out, it'll blow that GFI and cut power to the entire thing. There's no legs of power that are unprotected, which is great. And there's one GFI to deal with the whole thing. So if it pops, you know what to do. You just come and reset it. Anyway, in this one, we've got all of the neutrals connected. Those are the white ones. All of the grounds connected. Those are the red ones. Those red ones on the bottom don't actually do anything. They're just wire nutted off. And the red ones that are on the top are the switch for the disposal. So what happens is the black, and in this case white also, and ground, come up through this wire right here and comes all the way over to this switch. And then you can see down in there, there's a red wire. It takes the black and turns it into the red, which is switched, and then brings it back down into this box and then loops it over into this box, which is the switched outlet for the disposal. So really simple. I think what I'm going to do is wire this so that the top switch is for the disposal and the bottom switch is for the is constant. That way if I ever plugged in anything under here, I would have power there. And I was going to put an outlet here, but this way I can just put a plate here, cover it up, and all this is the junction box to get power over to the center island. Center bar right here behind me. These are not live. They're not even connected yet, so it's totally safe, but there'll just be a plate here. Then out of this box comes one more wire, which goes right over and across to that junction box. So in that one, there's a wire that goes back into the wall and up to do that light up there for the outside and all of these lights around the pool. And they run through this smart switch. So the only difference between that switch and this switch is we're using the neutral. Both have a neutral run up to them. You can see it in there, see the white wire, but it's not being used over there. So in this box, all the neutrals are wired together. Once again, those two reds on top are not being used, but if you look closely, there is a red that connects to a black, and that is the hot switch that comes out of here. This red basically comes up through the black, goes through the switch, comes out the red, and then the red ties into the black from the wire that runs up the wall to the lights. And then there's one more wire that comes into here. It is this one that goes over here, and it's just a four gang there, whatever you call that. And that is where the refrigerator, the grill, and the side burner are all plugged in. So if there's a problem or anything, I can just unplug them right there. I can easily reach this. It's not behind the fridge, which would have been a problem. Unfortunately, this line right here is long enough to plug the grill in way over here. So there'll be no need to remove the refrigerator to deal with any kind of plugs. That just gets a plate on top of it. And there's a little bit more work to do because this smart switch does not fit in this box. So I'm gonna have to get a deeper box, and I might as well get a deeper box for over here because of the way the grill is. You can't screw the plate in. You can't screw this in without removing the grill. And so what I'll do is get two larger boxes, pull these wires out, put them in the new larger box, and then secure the box after it's wired. And then you'll be able to put a plate on it with just a little mini screwdriver. I may have to rethink this. I may have to put this switch down here. Be a little bit low. I don't think I can fit it up and down. If I can fit it up and down here, I'm going to change it, because you can't get a screwdriver in here. But anyway, that is the wiring that all got done today, and that is a big deal because it was really hard to access once the granite goes in. Not impossible, but just hard. And now I get my lights back out here, which we've been out of light. We haven't had these lights for 10 weeks now, and it's just been a real pain. Anyway, on to Home Depot to get some deeper boxes and clean all this mess up. Stuff everywhere, as usual. I decided to do a voiceover and speed this up a little bit because I started to just tell you the same thing all over again. This is wired up, ready to go. I put another GFI there just for protection. When one blows, they both blow, which is kind of interesting, but double protection there. That little device there is a GFI tester to make sure everything is working properly. And I decided not to switch that, or not to put a solid one in there. That one is switched both top and bottom because I went ahead and put an outlet in the junction box that gets current over to the center bar. And I don't know what I'll use that for, but I figured, there's two outlets now that are accessible in case you needed them. And then that one's GFI protected also because it loops through the first GFI. And then here's the smart switch that ended up fitting in the deeper box, and those boxes did fit up and down. They control these lights up around the pool, and then that lantern style light is controlled by a photocell also. That plate covers on, and that cleaned up nicely. And then Alfresco actually made these plugs, like a zero clearance kind of flat plug. Unfortunately, you can't plug one in on top of the other, so I'm going to have to cut one, rewire it into a new plug to get that to work. But electrical is now 100% done, nothing else to do. Came out really nice. I wanted to incorporate some stainless into the bar area with a footrest, and the only one I could find on Amazon it was a little bit too big. It stuck out too far, so that when the stools were all the way up against it, it kind of cut down on the amount of space that you have to walk. So what I did was I cut off the mounting plate. You can see this particular style has a flat foot for the ground, and it had a mounting plate right here. And I cut that off, drilled a hole, and that way I can move it in and out pretty much almost from there all the way out to there, wherever I want. And what I'll do is epoxy that in, and then of course the stone is going to come right up to it. But I think that looks really great. It has end caps that I haven't put on yet. But this is all the way in. It brings a little stainless into the whole program there. I think it looks really great. and once the stone is in and everything, that bar will just disappear into the stone. Here's what it looks like with the end cap on. That end cap is just kind of held in there with friction. I wrapped a little bit of friction tape around it, automotive friction tape. Looks like electrical tape, but it's more of a fabric, and that worked perfectly, held it in. There's no set screws. There is set screws down under here that hold the bar in position, but it's really well made and exactly the right length at 48 inches. You don't run the risk of kicking it on either side. You ready?
And if you're wondering why that space was so neat and clean, it's because we had a bunch of people over to celebrate my daughter graduating college, which is really exciting. And if you're wondering what graduating college looks like during COVID, well, you get to invite 6 people and walk across a stage here, and some very important virtual people stand and give you a very personal applause for your achievement. And it goes kind of like this. Yep, that's the whole thing. Took about 10 minutes. And even she admitted that not sitting in an arena for 3 hours was way better. And she got to experience something that's, pretty unique, because someday, hopefully, COVID will be over. But aside from the hokiness of the virtual people, like this one that you're about to see, not sure who that is, but go get 'em, girl. I don't know what he said either. Anyway, you get to work your way down the stations here and take pictures in front of various backdrops. They've got 2 of them going on at once. This is right down the middle of the college basketball arena, and it was really something. Anyway, I'm really, really proud of her. Bachelor's of Science in Forensics, something she's been interested in her entire life, and she's actually doing it. Has a great job, and we are really proud of her getting through college. Anyway, back to the kitchen.
Well, another episode comes to an end. I can't believe it's been 10 weeks since I started this project. It's coming along really good, and if you've stayed with me this long, I really, really appreciate the views and the comments. It's been a great project, and it's almost ready to be wrapped up. I think another couple weeks, and that's all it'll take. Granite gets templated on Monday. Today's Sunday, so tomorrow. And then next Thursday, granite gets installed, and then it'll go really fast. So let me give you just a recap. I'll flip the camera around, give you a recap of what we've done. And then also at the beginning of the video, I've been using the grill, obviously, and I showed you those 2 cooking clips. Let me show you a little bit about the grill and what I've started to kind of adapt. And then also the refrigerator's all hooked up, so I'll show you that. This is what this space looks like, cleaned up. And right here is there's an outdoor shower here. I'm going to cover this entire wall with the ledger stone, and then we have a panel style shower that we're going to install. So I think that'll look really good. And let me show you a couple features about this grill. And then also I mentioned the refrigerator is turned on. So, refrigerator on. Plenty of beer, and I am getting a little bit of condensation right here, so I think it could be because I haven't cleaned this. I only cleaned the outside. Speaking of cleaning, this product is incredible. I'm gonna actually do a video on this. You just wipe it on and wipe it off. It's incredible. Right now we're just keeping waters in the doors, but refrigerators, it works great. It does make noise. It makes like a fan noise. You can't really hear it right now, but I was a little surprised. I mean, it is a commercial grade refrigerator, and it's not designed to be super quiet, but it works great and looks great. I decided that I'm going to, in fact, there, you can hear it kick on. I don't know if you can hear that. Got some fingerprints on it from last night. I'm going to raise this chest of drawers here, drawer cabinet, so that it's level with the top of the fridge, and then put a vent in the bottom. I was struggling, do I put like a pull-out counter here? I really think I need the extra ventilation in case there's a propane leak, and it'll look good because there's a vent under the fridge. And I think that that's just going to be the best way to go. As far as using the grill, let me go wide angle here, and I've changed a couple things. So originally I had the griddle all the way over here, and I had the grate out, and I had the griddle mounted down low the way it's supposed to be mounted. Well, I was cooking those wings, and you can see I needed the whole surface, so I went ahead and pulled the griddle out and put the grate in, and I slid the griddle over here and then thought to myself, I wonder if it'll work with the sear station, and it does. It works great. You flip the sear station on, and it gets nice and hot, and then you can take your tongs or your spatula and either shut the sear station off, or what I did recently was I put this burner on high. I got the griddle smoking hot with the sear burner, the infrared, and then I slid this over, and this burner kept this plenty hot enough to cook anything. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to slide this thing around as I need space. If I use the sear station, I'll stick it over here, and if I decide to indirect cook, then I can slide this back over, put the food here, and have this burner and this burner on and this one off. I do have an indirect cooking tray right here, and I haven't put that in yet. Let me go ahead and slide it out. I'll show it. Well, hold on. I need two hands. So here's how this thing works. So these trays came with the grill, and they're really to put under the rotisserie, which is right here. I don't know where I'm going to store that. Rotisserie plugs in there and rides on these rollers, and then you would put one or two of these under it to catch the drippings. Honestly, I'd use aluminum pans so I could just throw them away, but this thing goes in like this. It's designed to go under the grate, but just for the purpose of showing you, you can leave it on top. You could probably leave it on top no matter what. In fact, I might even buy another grate so I don't have to, I can just take it in and out. I don't even have to deal with that. But again, you could use an aluminum foil pan, but they made it so that you could slide this tray in right here. And you could do a number of things. You could put a grate on top and then put a meatloaf or a chicken up there, and it would catch the drippings. Or you could roast something in here, like potatoes or whatever, and not use the grate, and it keeps it up. That air pocket keeps it, indirect. You could, and that way you could leave this bottom burner on to generate heat from the plate, or you could convection cook or indirect cook by just having this one on and this one on, which seems like it would be the same thing as if you just put the food right on this burner. However, if it is something like a meatloaf that's going to drip a lot, I can see the value in doing this, because you don't want to end up with all those drippings in your grill. And if you're doing vegetables or potato wedges or something that's going to just fall through, I could see the value there also. These are actually pretty decent. They're porcelain coated steel, and they might hold up. Here it's already chipping right here. So that's a problem with this stuff, is as soon as it chips, it starts rusting. So if I could find a stainless steel tray like this, exactly the same shape, that would be ideal. And then these things, I'm not going to touch it now because they're filthy, but if you put it in the top hole, they sit on an angle and they're totally out of the way. I guess you could rotisserie with them in the top position, but you probably wouldn't want to. You'd probably just want to take them out completely. But anyway, that is a little extra accessory for this grill, and makes it really, really functional. I'm really thrilled with it, having such a blast cooking with this thing. The switches, you've got your lighter switch, right? You can hear it popping. You've got your light bulb, which turns on the lights here and in the grill, and then they shut off when this is depressed, when you close the grill. By the way, whether you put this on top of the grate
or you remove the grate, and put it down where it belongs. It closes either way, which is really smart. I don't know if I showed you in one of the videos, but this spins, and it really makes it nice to go up and down because it's heavy. It's counterbalanced or spring loaded. I don't know which, but it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. And then the rotisserie button right here, you just turn that on and your rotisserie is spinning. You can see that turning. It's chain driven. The motor's down underneath the grill. And then over here, it just rides on rollers, 2 little rollers. So that's it for this video. As always, thanks for watching. And next week, I will have the video of them doing the template and then installing the granite. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe. See ya.